All right, Indian Creek families. First off, I want to thank all the families that were able to make the back to school night. If you did make back to school night and you came to the gym, you don't need to watch this presentation unless you really enjoyed it, which is fine. You can watch it again. But this is for the families that were unable to make it, and that's all right. I want to just be able to go through all this information with you. I won't read through the Title I script, but you can pause this video and read through it. Just kind of summarize this. We are a Title I school. That means we get additional money, and we get to use that on our students. And so basically, any student that has a need at Indian Creek, it is our job to make sure that we meet those needs. So you can read through this. We call our services WIN time, and WIN stands for whatever I need. And every grade level has two built-in WIN times throughout their schedule, one for reading and one for math. So feel free to pause this video, read this through, and then hit play when you're ready. I do want to address some safety measures that we've been able to put in place this school year that we're excited about. Part of it's been able to been added through renovation, and other is just looking at best practice throughout the state of Indiana and what we need to do as a school to ensure that our students are safe. Because if our students aren't safe, then nothing else matters. So I'm going to start with safety. Number one is we're always on an external lockdown. You cannot get into Indian Creek unless you're invited in, unless you're welcomed in through door one. Door one is the only door that's unlocked during the school hours, and then it locks automatically at 6 o'clock every night. Another piece we put in place because of renovation, which is really nice, is our double buzzer center. Even if you come in door one, that gets you nowhere except for the entry level. It gets you into the atrium. We have a double buzzer system. That means you have to get buzzed into the reception area, and then you have to get buzzed out into the building. So that's a feature that's been put in place since renovation, and it's a really nice piece that people have to verify who they are when they come into the building. They do not get access to the students until they've done that. Speaking of verifying who you are, I'm going to skip a bullet point and go down to safe visitor system. We have a new safe visitor system. So when you do get buzzed into the reception area, again, just because you're in the reception area, that does not mean you have access to students. You have to have your photo ID scanned, and a quick background check is ran when you enter the reception area. Once your background check is scanned, you get a printed off visitor badge. You must wear that visitor badge at all time. If it falls off, you got to come back and get a new one. And our staff will politely ask you to do that. But then once you get clarified and the background check is cleared, you will be buzzed into the building. That is when you finally get access to the school. So just make sure those steps are in place. Are they a hassle? Yes. But are they done intentionally to make our kids safe? Yes, they are. So it's a hassle we're gonna deal with, and we're gonna work together on. So a double buzzer system is brand new. Our safe visitor system, you're gonna have to scan and show your photo ID every time you come to Indian Creek. Just be aware of that. Monthly safety drills are a requirement by the state of Indiana. We do that every month, and then we have some other drills that are every semester. And if you're going to visit classrooms, those have to be pre-arranged, pre-scheduled. If you want to meet with a teacher, you got to arrange that. We are not welcoming to pop-up visits, just coming in, popping in. If you want to make it a pop-up for the student, that's fine, but you have to let the teacher know that you're coming. Again, that's done for safety. We do not want people just popping in and out throughout the building. And it's not always about a single student, it's about all the students. We got to make sure every student is safe at this school. So you're more than welcome to always visit, but just please call it in, let us know you're coming, let the teacher know, and let the teacher agree upon a certain time and date for you to show up. We have a partnership with IMPD and LPD. If you see police cars in the parking lot, don't be alarmed. Specifically, Officer Milliken, he typically is the one that walks through our Milliken and Billiton. Officer Milliken is the officer who walks through our building. He's the one that says hi to the kids. We welcome you to say hi to Officer Milliken as well. He's the safety officer that is assigned to Indian Creek. And then we have two new positions, our student support assistants. They're helping with school safety as well. They're monitoring the building at all times. They are here for behavior. They support behavior throughout the school, but they also are going to be supporting safety as well. And then finally, I talked about best practice throughout the state. Well, every year I personally get trained by the Department of Education and learn about best practice. And that's where these concepts are coming from, is from that training. So I'm a certified safety specialist. I have to maintain that certification through the Department of Education, and I'll continue to do that this school year. But because of that training, that's where all these updates are coming from. So this presentation is all about being proud of our school, being proud of Indian Creek. And I want to make sure that anyone watching this watches this and is proud of Indian Creek as well, and proud to send your child to this school. One of the main reasons you should be proud of Indian Creek is an accomplishment we achieved a couple years ago is we are one of 13 elementary schools in the state of Indiana that is certified by the Department of Education as a STEM school. So through this presentation, I'll hopefully be able to explain what that means, but it took a lot of hard work. And like I said, we're one of 13 schools. So it's a big accomplishment for us, and it took time to get there. One way that I can kind of put what STEM is in a nutshell is the phrase we use for teachers and for students. We have this phrase posted throughout the building. It's engineering the future. That's our mission statement kind of for our teachers to make sure that we are engineering the future. And it's also for our kids. We want to make sure that they're able to engineer their future, make sure that we're empowering them with the skills needed to be successful in their future. So what are those skills? We believe here at Indian Creek that our students need a strong base in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They're going to be doing jobs that currently don't exist. So that means they need to have a strong foundation in these 4 areas. So at Indian Creek, what STEM means is we try to embed STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, into everything we do. That's why on the schedule you won't see science time. And science time doesn't happen once a week, once a month. STEM is all the time. It's part of reading, it's part of writing, it's part of math. And we just merge those core concepts together. So that's the Indian Creek way of doing STEM. How we do that, we call it IC24. IC24 stands for the Indian Creek 24. What that really means is each grade level has 4 unique STEM experiences for our school. So we put 6 grade levels. Each grade level has 4. 6 times 4 gives you the 24. And IC stands for Indian Creek. So our STEM curriculum is called IC24. We take a lot of pride in that. Each one of those STEM units should incorporate a STEM challenge, a unique experience, either a field trip or an expert coming in, but a lot of hands-on learning. So when students, for example, in 3rd grade are learning about simple machines, they're going to read about them, they're going to write about them, but they're also going to build some simple machines. And they may even go and have maybe like Poindexter come and check out a crane, or have real life experiences around simple machines. So that's what IC24 is all about. We have it at every grade level. There are 4 unique STEM experiences at each grade level, and that's what we call our IC24. We also are excited to roll out our makerspace. It's still being worked on. We're still waiting on furniture, equipment, and supplies to come in. But this is where we'll do those hands-on activities. Going back to that 3rd grade simple machines, one thing they do is they build catapults. Well, guess where they're going to build those catapults? That's going to be in our 2,500 square foot makerspace. So this is going to be a unique room to our school. It's going to be second to none in the state of Indiana. And we're going to take a lot of pride in this room and make sure that we get our students in the makerspace as much as possible. We're also going to be able to go there and do some free build activities and then some STEM challenges, as well as the IC24 curriculum. On top of that, we have some unique related arts classes for our Indian Creek Explorers. 3 of those unique classes include our computer science class with Ms. Katowitz, our robotics and design class, and our STEM lab. And we take a lot of pride in those because there's other schools that also have robotics and computer science, but typically those are clubs, and it's limited to the number of kids that can do this. At Indian Creek, all 734 kids, as of today, 734, get access to computer science and robotics in our STEM lab on a weekly basis. So every day we're doing these things. We also have some traditional related arts classes like physical education and music. This year we have an initiative. We're going to continue the summer reading program, and we're going to keep it rolling all year long. So every month we're going to be asking students to complete. Some grade levels are doing it every week, but basically every night we need our kids reading. So we're going to be continuing our reading program throughout the school year. You're going to hear it in the Sunday messages, and I'm going to be talking about a lot all year, but we need to remind our students to read, read, read. I'm going to show you an example of why this is important. Here's a released item from the Department of Education. This is on their website, so you can go to the Department of Education and look up sample items. This is one of them. This is actually, and the reason I bring this up is this looks like a reading assessment. It looks like a writing assessment maybe. This is actually a math question. This was found on the Department of Education's website under sample items. This is a 3rd grade release item, 3rd grade math. So you see how much reading is involved. So if we expect our students to be successful on iLearn this school year, then we're going to have to make sure that they are reading all the time. Not only reading, but then able to comprehend what's happening. And then on the math test, be able to apply those math skills into these problems. You look at this, following that question, there are 5 questions to follow that reading passage. So not only do they have to read this passage, then they have to answer these questions. And 2 of those questions are paragraph format. So they have to write paragraphs to be able to explain their work. So not only are they finding an answer, they have to defend themselves. So this is not the math quiz that we're used to as parents. It's not multiple choice. It's not true false. They have to really do some thinking and they have to apply themselves to be able to use their math skills in a real world situation. This screen is all about what we're going to do to help out. So to help support our reading initiative, we have a partnership with Lexia Reading Core 5. That will continue. So that's a resource that students can get on the computer and do at home. And I highly encourage you to work with your student to get on the computer. So if your students at home and they're getting all this, FaceTime, this digital time, this screen time, sorry, that's what I was looking for. They're getting screen time on their iPad, iPhone, whatever it is. Make sure they're getting on Lexia and allow them to get that screen time, but make sure it's screen time well spent. Lexia Core 5 is a great way to use that screen time. Myon is another great resource, and we just purchased this as a school. That is a digital library. So the excuse of, I don't have a book to read, not anymore. You have Myon, so you can log on to Myon, and there's a digital library that students can access, and they can read current books. So these are books that are about athletes and famous people that are actually famous today. So it's a great resource, and we just purchased it for the school. So that's going to help support our reading initiative. Be a champion is our behavior. I want all our families to know this to help support and bridge that gap between school and home because we help our students become champions every day. We tell our students that if you are being respectful, responsible, and safe at Indian Creek, then you are being a champion. And that's our behavior focus. We encourage our students and staff to be a champion every single day they're here. One way we support students by being champions is our monthly champion tips. Here's the first 3 months of school. We have Tim, we have Sam, and we have power words. Hopefully, if you've been at Indian Creek before, you already know exactly what these are, but we reteach it every single year. The first one's my favorite one, and that's Tim. What do you do when someone is rude to you? If someone is being disrespectful and rude, you have a lot of choices. At Indian Creek, you are expected to use Tim. You're expected to talk, ignore, and move away from that person. You are not expected to retaliate. You're not expected to use your hands, your body, physical aggression to solve a problem. You're expected to be able to talk to that person or talk to the authority, ignore and move away. Next month, we're going to be diving into Sam. What do you do when you've been rude? You say you're sorry, you accept responsibility, and you make it right. And then coming up next would be our power words. We also have some strategies we incorporate, and these are calm down strategies and how to talk. So when we talk about Tim, iMessage, when you go to talk to somebody, you don't boss them around, you use an iMessage. So we're teaching students how to become champions every day. Fundraising, I know it isn't always exciting and it isn't always fun, but we have 3 easy ways to raise money for Indian Creek. And again, all this money that's raised goes right back to your students. It goes back to help support some of those IC24 components or help us party, help us celebrate. Talk about that reading initiative. We're going to need to party and celebrate with those kids who are reading all the time. We're going to need money to do that. A lot of that money comes from our PFO and from our fundraisers. And here are 3 ways to raise money for the school that you're already doing, you may not be aware of. The first one is going to Buffalo Wild Wings on Pendleton Pike. If you go to Pendleton Pike and you eat, make sure you tell them you want 10% to go to Indian Creek, and we get money every time you go there and tell them that. If you go to Kroger, go to customer service and tell them you want to connect your Kroger card to Indian Creek Elementary, and we make money every time you shop at Kroger. It doesn't cost you anything. And then box tops, if you buy anything from General Mills, you cut off that box top, send it into school. Every box top is 10 cents for our school. Great way, easy way to raise money for the school, and it's for things you're already doing. On top of that, we have 3 fundraisers this year. Cookie dough's coming up in November. We had a great turnout last year from that. We're going to do it again, so make sure you're aware of cookie dough coming up next. And then we have a couple popcorn. This is monthly. We'll be selling popcorn to the kids once a month. Be aware of that. And then twice this year, we're going to have Parents' Night Out, so look for those flyers to be coming home. Why do we do it? I kind of hit on it already. That's why we do it right here for these kids, so that we can have parties. We can do extra things. We can buy awards and celebrate. A lot of the money we raise goes right back to the kids for additional field trips, additional parties, additional celebrations, and sometimes it's for materials that we need to help support an IC24 unit. We have community events coming up. We have one in the spring, one in the fall. Next one up is October 21st, Harvest Hoopla. It's our big party in the fall, and I hope to see all our families there. And a lot of that fundraising money helps support those community events as well. That's where a lot of the money goes, so that we can bring down the cost of those events and so that you can come and have an affordable, fun time with your family. We are looking for t-shirt sponsors this school year for the 4th year in a row. I'm very proud of the shirts. Every child, every staff member, every volunteer will receive a free Indian Creek t-shirt, but that does take sponsors. If you have a local company or business that would like to sponsor the purchase of these shirts, please let me know. Their company logo will be on the back of all 1,000 t-shirts. Stay connected as always. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. All of my classroom teachers are on Twitter, so you can check out what's going on in their room and you can stay connected that way. But then we have our online newsletter. And then we also have the Sunday phone call. If you guys are not receiving the Sunday phone call, please let us know in the front office so that you can get that every Sunday night at 6 o'clock. And then finally, parent-teacher conferences are September 17th. We hope to see everyone there. If you listen to this all the way, come to the front office and say boiler up to me. If you're an IU fan, you can come up to me and say, hey, keep exploring, and I'll have a prize for you. So if you watch this all the way through, you can either say boiler up or keep exploring, and I'll have a prize for you. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by Indian Creek anytime and let me know.